So, does the DOJ have to turn over all that information that Senator Graham has requested? Well, let's talk about it with the creator of the new podcast, Talking Feds, Harry Litman, and Cal Berkeley law professor John Yoo. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Shannon.
Okay, so to read a broader quote from Chairman Graham's letter, he says this: the committee is deeply concerned with these discussions and whether they essentially indicate that two of the highest ranking law enforcement officials in the United States were discussing what amounts to a coup against the president. Harry, they're referring to McCabe's assertions that they talked about the 25th Amendment and whether there would be those willing to go along with that.
I'm sorry, me first?
You, Harry. We'll start with you.
Yeah, Shannon. Okay, well, look, it was a really remarkable, dramatic episode, and maybe the American people need to learn about it. There's two ways in which it seems to me the Graham letter is a little bit politically slanted. It wasn't just the two of them. Those are the two they want to demonize now, but it's clear, John can probably appreciate this, there was an atmosphere of crisis all over the department and real concern after the irregular behavior of the president in firing Comey. So you know, that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing to realize is that as sort of stunning as this was, it's going to be, I think, a real battle about whether it gets turned over. My best guess, though, I wonder what John thinks about this, is that in fact the whatever assertions of privilege or deliberative privilege that executive makes won't prevail, and this will see the light of day.
Well, and John, I mean, looking at the request from the senator today, I mean, he says he wants to know everybody who was in the meeting, because maybe we've only heard those voices or those names, McCabe, Rosenstein, other names thrown around. He says, I want to know everybody who was there, and he's given him until March 29th to turn over all the info.
That's right. I mean, it wasn't all hands on. Oh, I'm sorry. Look, I've got an earpiece. Go ahead.
John, Harry could talk. Harry could talk for the whole show. Come on.
Yes, he could.
I feel bad interrupting him here. But look, anyone who thinks, look, there's a lot of controversy, disruption in the Justice Department after Comey's firing. But anyone who thinks in the Justice Department that the 25th Amendment applied, that President Trump was actually, under the terms of the Constitution, unable to discharge the powers and duties of the office, ought to have his head examined. And I hope Lindsey Graham's about to do that. I think that, I wouldn't go far as say it's a coup, but I think you had an unconstitutional use of the 25th Amendment. If people think Trump's a spy, then the avenue for that, correcting that, is impeachment, not to claim or pretend that Trump's somehow medically unfit and removing him from office. Second, and this goes also to Harry's point, I agree, I could see the FBI or the Justice Department claiming executive privilege, but you know who can waive executive privilege and force all those people to testify? President Trump. Yep. All President Trump has to do is say, I'm not invoking privilege. Go up and testify and tell Congress everything that happened and everybody who was in the room.
Okay, and now
it would be a bizarre claim of executive privilege because it's not helping the president in his deliberations. I would also just say coup seems a loaded term to me as well. They did bandy about the 25th Amendment. They bandied about everything. But
wearing a wire.
All we know is it was a genuine quandary. What do we do here? This is kind of crazy.
Okay, well, just a note I want to make, too, that the chairman is also, Senator Lindsey Graham, asked for a second special counsel. He thinks that it's time to dig into how the DOJ and FBI handled the Hillary Clinton email investigation, because the more we get information released from Lisa Page and Peter Strzok and others, it raises all new questions about deals that were made and all kinds of things. So we'll see if he gets that special counsel or these documents. But gentlemen, come back because we always have more to talk about. Perry and John, great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Shannon.
Is that we can have national voting, and that means get rid of the Electoral College and everybody.
I think that I'm open to the discussion. I mean, there's no question that the popular vote has been diminished in terms of making the final decision about who's the president of the United States, and we need to deal with that.
Would you support getting rid of the Electoral College?
Absolutely. It's got to go.
I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, when they're interested in all of this.
What if there were 5 justices selected by Democrats, 5 justices selected by Republicans, and those 10 then pick 5 more justices independent of those who chose the first 10?
Just a small glimpse of how radical, out of touch this new crop of 2020 Democrats have become. All right, joining us now to talk about that much more is the great one, I call him. He's the host of Life, Liberty, Levin, #1 show, 10 p.m. Sundays, right here on Fox and Levin TV. You know, Mark, you look at our framers. You go back to 1787, and this is your wheelhouse. 16-year-olds to vote. They want to stack the Supreme Court with activist justices, and let's get rid of the Electoral College so New York and New Jersey, Illinois, and California will elect every president going forward. Dying to get your reaction in that and the new Green Deal.
You know, Sean, this is one of the reasons I oppose legalizing pot, because obviously we have a problem on Capitol Hill. Look, the greatest threat to our Constitution and economic system isn't any foreign power. It's the Democrat Party. It's the leftists within the Democrat Party, because they use our liberty and our Constitution to destroy our liberty and our Constitution. And they're very good at it. Look at this. You named some of them. They want to destroy the Electoral College. Now, what would that mean? Why do we have an Electoral College? We have an Electoral College, and why do I have to explain this to people who want to run for President of the United States? Because there were states which had smaller populations that were not going to join the Union if the most populous states were going to control the entire country. We have an Electoral College that keeps peace in this nation. We have a farm belt that's less populated than urban areas. We have an energy sector that's less populated than urban areas. We don't want to be ruled by New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago. We should all have a role in this. We are a republic. We are not a democracy. We're not a mobocracy. And what you see here, these aren't people running in the Democrat Party. They're running under the mob party. They want to get rid of the Electoral College. Well, how do they intend to... just think about this. If they want to get rid of the Electoral College, you have to amend the Constitution. You only need 13 states to say no. You think there's 13 states that will say no? I think there's 20 states that will say no. So they're absolute illiterates when it comes to the Constitution. They want to pack the Supreme Court. Now, we tried this. Franklin Roosevelt tried it. You know who stopped them? His own vice president and the Democrat Party. They want to pack the Supreme Court. Why? Because they want to fix the outcome. They want to fix the outcome of elections. They want to fix the outcome of court decisions. This is very good banana republic of the Democrat Party. They want to allow illegal aliens to vote. Well, why wait for them to come 1,000 miles into the United States? Why don't we send absentee ballots to 7 billion people all over the world? Tell them you don't need to struggle to get to the United States. You can just vote in our elections. They want to lower the voting age to 16. Why not lower it to 12 or 14 or 15? How stupid is that? I mean, they raised the age for booze. They raised the age for cigarettes to 21. But at 16, you're going to help pick our president? Why are they doing that? Because they indoctrinate all these kids in high school and so forth, and they know how they're going to vote Democrat. Every decision they make or everything they espouse is about power, controlling power. Do you think if we had 1 million illegal immigrants coming across the border and 75% of them one day become United States citizens who would vote Republican, do you think they would want to secure the southern border? You bet they would. They'd have sniper towers all over the place. They don't want Republicans coming into this country. The Second Amendment. Now we have a knucklehead running for president who says we should actually start to confiscate weapons. The First Amendment, they call this voter reform, where they want to take away free speech. Now, we're only 3 or 4 weeks into this election, and the kooks are in full display. What about our economy? Nationalize energy. Nationalize energy. We're finally energy independent, and they want to destroy it. Nationalize health care, single payer. Wealth tax, 70 to 90% marginal tax rate. A VAT tax, free college, guaranteed minimum income from birth, guaranteed federal job, 3 months of taxpayer-financed family leave, expand Social Security while the trustees say it's bankrupt in 2034. That's the genius Bernie Sanders, by the way. Eliminate existing border fences. That's Beto O'Rourke right there. Eliminate ICE. Reinstate the Iran nuclear deal. Cut military funding. And while we're at it, impeach the president, indict the president's children, and let's go ahead and impeach Associate Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh. That is quite a policy plan that the Democrats have, and we're only 3 or 4 weeks into this.
Mark, you did forget one thing, and I never like to correct you because you're always right. During birth and after birth abortion.
Oh, right.
Deliver the baby.
You're right.
Make sure the baby's comfortable, then let the mother decide. Wow. Did you ever think in all your years you would hear this, even be all these things you mentioned, ever being seriously discussed? At like 100 Democrats in Congress supporting this and 2020 candidates.
Listen to how crazy these people are. We're going to eliminate straws to save the whales, but infanticide of human beings is a right, a choice between a mother and a doctor. No, it's not. I just want to say one thing before we go to the President of the United States. Thank you. Thank you for being a statesman. What you've done in Israel will be remembered for 1,000 years. The Golan Heights, moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, taking on the terrorists in Hamas and the Palestinian Liberation Organization office you closed and the PLA, shredding the Iran deal, which was a threat to the United States as well as our allies, the Gulf Arab states and the Israelis too. I mean, honestly, we have 4 Democrats running for president: Elizabeth Warren, Julian Castro, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris. None of them will speak at AIPAC, which is a moderate left-of-center organization that supports Israel. That's how hardcore the Democrats have become anti-Israel. And when they have an anti-Semite among them, they can't even pass a resolution specifically condemning the anti-Semite by name. And yet, the number 3 Democrat in the House of Representatives, yet again in that party, compared the President of the United States to Adolf Hitler. This is a sick party. These are sick people running for President of the United States. There's no other explanation for this.
Mark Levin, we've missed you for 3 months. Please come back a little more regularly. Amazing commentary tonight. Thank you for that. Don't forget, Mark's show, Life, Liberty, Levin, Sunday night, 10 Eastern. #1 show on Sunday nights here at Fox.